Welcome back to Together We Can's Monthly Action Items. My name is Rob Crain. I'm a personal injury attorney in Dallas, Texas, and this month is a special month. This will complete our first full year of programming with Together We Can on our monthly work, and want to thank you, no matter when you jumped in, for participating and growing as a person and helping our community with your steps forward. And this month, we are going to get as fundamental as it gets. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, as we all know, is becoming more and more a part of our institutions, and it is so important to have those elements. But ultimately, where those programs and where those concepts are leading us to is a greater sense of connection with one another and helping to foster greater sense of belonging for people in our communities, our workplaces, our schools, wherever it may be. And bringing that sense of belonging is really where healing happens in our society, and really recreation of community, as one of our quotes this month discusses. And I'm excited about the content this month. We start with Caroline Clarke, who is an author, journalist, and just an amazing story. She is the granddaughter, actually, of Nat King Cole, but did not know that because she had been placed up for adoption at birth. And she speaks of her story in the offering this month, and does so in talking to us about connection and belonging. And her talk is The Essential Power of Belonging, and tells a wonderful story that I think we can all be moved by. Our second offering from Fred Falker, who is a consultant, and he is the director of workforce development at the St. Louis Zoo. An amazing talk of encouraging us to reach and lean into uncomfortable spaces in making connection with others. And he titles it Rethinking Diversity and Inclusion. And he offers us practical tools and how we lean into those spaces that we don't always feel comfortable in doing, which leads us to Corey Carew, who is attorney. She describes herself as a storyteller, but she's also a chief inclusion and diversity officer at a major corporation. And you'll hear her talk about one of her stories that really resonated for her in her life as well as her career. And she goes through in a series of how-to steps as well, and how we can better bring a sense of belonging amongst people that don't look like one another. Our extras this month, and if we had programming that extended beyond an hour, we would put our two extras into the primary content, but we always try to respect our 1 hour rule for our primary content. But please go, and I know you will enjoy both of these extras. Bree Brown, who is a researcher, also talks about being a storyteller. She's an author of some major best-selling books. We're providing you her TEDx talk, The Power of Vulnerability, which has been viewed by over 5 million people. And I am embarrassed to admit, it seems like I say that each month, but I'm embarrassed to admit that I did not know who Bree Brown was. I mentioned this to my wife, and I was quickly educated as to how I lived under a rock and not knowing who Bree Brown is. And I have quickly become a huge fan. She's amazing. And her discussions are very raw, very authentic, driven by her research. And there's a reason why 5 million people have gravitated to her talk of the power of vulnerability, and gives you the basic building blocks of finding your own sense of belonging. And finally, because we are fun here at Together We Can, and because he is such a great example and provides his own wonderful tools for us to consider in our walks and our journey in life. Michael Jr., the wonderful comedian. This is also a TEDx talk that he did, from what I could gather, during the day prior to an event later that evening in Reno, Nevada. He titled it More Than Funny. And he talks within his stand-up routine about finding your punchline, finding your purpose, and how you can approach your life's work, how you can approach your relationships in a way that changes completely the paradigm of how you go about fulfilling your life's work. And it's entertaining, as he always is, as well as brings some very strong concepts for you to consider for your personal walk. Also want to thank Ellis, who is a walking example himself. He's providing our In Their Shoes segment this month. Al has walked the walk, talked the talk, done it all in his adult life, and been a great example and mentor to so many in the North Texas area. And I think you will enjoy his contribution this month. So once again, thank you all for being part of this journey. Proud to have completed our first year, and proud of what we've put out there for all of us, myself included, to learn more about our history in this country, learn more about our communities, learn more about ourselves, and put it into action that will change our communities forever. Look forward to having you back next month.